What up, good people? It's your boy, Mr. Anthony, and welcome to another episode of the Mr. Anthony Show. I appreciate y'all tuning in as usual. And you already know, before we get started, I gotta show love to the people. Because it ain't about me. It's about y'all. And without y'all, there's no me. So any amount of time that you giving your boy on this here episode is greatly appreciated. Blessings to you. Seriously. Let's jump into it though. Today, we talking about disrespect and how we handle disrespect as men. How do we handle it? Everyone faces some level of disrespect, whether you're a man, woman, or child. At some point, you're gonna face some level of disrespect. And it's not about the actual words. It's about your reaction to those words or to whatever you're perceiving to be disrespect. Because every man at some point is going to face disrespect. All right, it's just a fact. This is not a theory, y'all. This is history, okay? It's a fact. We all will face it at some point. It can happen at school. It can happen in the locker room. It can happen on the job. It can happen in relationships. It can happen in traffic. It can happen in the comments on social media, at family gatherings, you name it. Disrespect is one of the few universal male experiences, okay? Very few things are universal, but this is one of them, all right? But the offense itself is not what's important here. The most important part is how we choose to respond. That's the biggest thing. So let's slow it down just a little bit and let's talk about something deeper than pride. Because many good men that you know, that I know, have lost everything behind perceived disrespect. But impulsive reactions is what really makes it bad. Many men, many good men have lost everything, their businesses, their freedom, their future, just from reading something and perceiving it to be disrespect. One decision made too fast can change your life forever and everyone around you, because it's not just about us, right? It's more than just us impacted when something stupid happens over what we are perceiving to be disrespect. An argument over nothing. Fighting because somebody looked at you a particular type of way. Something, or someone said something, you know what I'm saying? Or you felt tested by somebody. You know what I mean? And a man answers emotionally before he answers intelligently. Not all men, but quite a few of us, especially this generation, what they call them YNs. Look at what they doing, man. They wilding out there. They're wilding. Look at this Gucci Mane Pooh Shiesty deal. That's what you call perceived disrespect. He felt disrespected over a contract. He didn't have a good contract. So he reacted dumb, stupid. What he did was dumb. There's no other way to look at it, but that's a prime example of someone losing everything over something. If it would have been handled like men, could have been negotiated and been water under the bridge. You move on with your life, I'll move on with mine. Period. But it is what it is. But the man who answers intelligently always wins. Always. Always. And the one who answers emotionally, they pay the biggest price. Typically in blood or in years. One of the two. And that's because disrespect tends to hit us at the core of where we feel most uncertain about who we are as men. Insecurity, y'all. So if you identify as fragile, everything to you feels like war. Disrespect, y'all, is not just about words. It's a mirror pointed at our insecurities. So for some men, it touches the fear of being small. For others, it could be, the shame of not having no money. It could, or for some, it could touch on, doubt about your courage, or how attractive you may be, your intelligence, or just your relevance in the world in general. The louder the reaction, the deeper the wound, right? The louder the reaction, the deeper the wound. So seek to understand why the words of other people are holding power over you to negatively, impact you. So you got to ask yourself some things, right? What's going on inside of me? What inside of me is answering them? Why must my body move when another person's mouth is running? Like, who taught me that anger equals manhood? Those questions save lives, my people. We were raised to believe a man must respond fast to protect respect. You know what I mean? But emotionally, speed is not protection, it's entrapment. Entrapment. Because that's what it's going to lead to. You being entrapped or in jail or in the grave. One of the two. A man who does not know himself defends every street doctrine you can cook up. You end up proving masculinity to people who would never pay your rent or bury your mama if she were to pass away. Disrespect, man, it trains you to live outside your values if you have them. If you have them. But it can train you to live outside of those values, the things that your parents trained you up to have, those morals. You know what I mean? So when you confront your insecurities and you master your emotions, disrespect loses power over you. You feel me? Healing is an identity project, y'all. The goal is not to become numb. It is to become sovereign, right? You pause, you breathe, you choose wisely. That's mastery, y'all. But let me remind you, fathers shot over dice games. Brothers stabbed over Facebook posts. Men fired because they fought the supervisor instead of thinking about feeding their household. Divorces happen because a man could not regulate his tone in a conflict. These are not weak men. They're not. These were emotional men without tools. Without the tools. So let's talk about those tools. Like what do those tools look like, right? So the pause ritual. Hold on. Let me pause for a moment. Let me take a step back. Let me rationalize this and look at it from a different angle so I don't make an impulsive decision that could cost me and my family forever. Let's identify where those insecurities are. What's going on inside of me that needs to change so that words don't make me move in a negative manner. Take a moment and breathe before you react. Inhale, exhale deeply. That helps clear your mind and help you think more intelligently. Choose clarity over reflex. Understand control versus progress. Because disrespect is about control more than improvement. A real man is the calmest thinker in the midst of chaos, in the midst of the storm. You know what I mean? That to me, that's the man that we all should be striving to be. Calm during chaos, the calm thinker. Okay? Now, ladies, let's talk about relationships when it comes to disrespect. Women often, not all, some women will disrespect men to test them in the midst of an argument. Not intentionally always, but emotionally. And if you can't regulate, you could destroy love to protect your ego, right? And some women will press that button. So you gotta understand how to regulate yourself so that you don't destroy love trying to protect your ego. And if you got a woman that'll test you to that degree, you don't need her ass no way. Gotta go. You feel me? You gotta go. If you testing your man, ladies, if you testing your man like that, you must go. I'm sorry. This shouldn't be happening. There should not be tests ran to see how far I can press on this man before he snaps. Like, that's crazy to me. You ever seen arguments within your circle or just on TV, wherever, and you see a woman say, "I dare you to hit me. I dare you to hit me. I dare you to hit me." That's a test. How you react, man, is going to determine how the whole thing ends. You can't fall victim. You got to be able to regulate yourself in order to stay in the world, man. This is just what it is. All right. So we got to choose wisely. Now let's talk about work, because we know it can happen at work too. You know, some supervisors can be ignorant as hell and be real disrespectful. You know what I mean? You know, you can also end up losing everything there in order to protect your ego. And this is your paper, this your money, this your livelihood. This is how you take care of your family. So you got to understand how to regulate that too. You feel me? And especially in the streets. Now the streets, this is where it all go down. You know what I mean? The street doctrine teaches immediate defense. Automatically we on the defense. But prisons are full of men who believed that same script. We got to break that doctrine, y'all. We just have to. We have to break the doctrine. I understand the street code. Trust me. Those who know. I understand the street code and the street doctrines. But I'm not finna trick myself out of my life because of some stupid words that you done said. It's just words. Now, it's different if somebody put their hands on you, then you gotta defend yourself as a man. You gotta do what you gotta do. But you ain't just finna talk me into the jail cell. You ain't finna talk me into the grave. Man, stop playing. That is not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen, man. We have to recognize what's going on within us. Why are we insecure to a point to whereas the words of another human being can drive us to do something stupid? Why? We're bigger than that. We're better than that. You understand what I'm saying? They want us to screw up and end up in jail. And we know jail ain't nothing but the plantation. Now, if you want to go be a slave, if that's what you really want to do, they got a way for you to get there. They got a real outline, legal way for you to go right back into slavery. If that's what you want. Because that's all jail is, right? So we got to be able to regulate our thoughts. We got to be able to recognize what's going on inside of us so that we can fix that internal thing that's making us respond to the words of other people. Straight up. The more secure identity we have, the smaller target that they have. When we're more secure in who we are, we're less of a target because we won't fall victim to the stupid things that ends up getting us out of the world forever. We gotta think better. We gotta think stronger. All right. So in closing, my brothers, be the man that the moment demands. It is not the disrespect that defines you, my brothers, but how you choose to respond. Answer like a disciplined man. I appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of the Mr. Anthony Show. If this moved you, share it with somebody who you think could utilize and capitalize off this information. Think about it even if it does not apply to you. Use this as a tool so that you continue to respond intelligently and not emotionally. I appreciate y'all once again. Be blessed out in the world. Tell somebody you love them. Hug your loved ones, because you never know what could happen. And don't let disrespect trick you out the streets. Peace and love.